Now, food and diet for the meditator and the yogi. This is an interesting topic because everyone has their interesting ideas about it. Most of them are just fads. And most of them are also interesting belief systems that make a person feel better about themselves. So what I'm going to tell you is what is actually true about what you need to know in regards to food and diet on the spiritual path. The first, most basic thing is to have enough self-awareness to know how food and that which you ingest affects you. That's the very first thing, having that self-awareness. Meaning that if you know that when you eat 3 donuts, that you have a sugar rush and then you crash and then you can't meditate, clear indication, don't do that. If you know that you eat 2 double cheeseburgers and then you sit down to meditate and all you do is fall asleep, don't do it. Pay attention to how your body works. You could be a vegetarian, you could be a vegan, you could even eat meat and still be a good meditator, as long as you know how what you put in your body affects you. If you are concerned with karmic consequences of eating meat, well, don't eat meat. If you are concerned with the health benefits of eating meat or other foods, caffeine, alcohol, sugar, don't eat it. If they don't affect your meditation practice and you don't care, well then don't stress out about it. And don't let anyone talk you into it, make you feel bad about your food choices, because you know yourself how you respond to the foods you eat. This is the key. If we were going to be a purist, meaning we're just going to say, what would we be like if we were the ultimate yogi? Well, if we were the ultimate yogi according to mythology and literature, we would live off liquid light in the air. So be a breatharian. Or you would be an extreme vegetarian. You would never touch meat. It's fine. You can do that. No problem. You would live off fruits. Be a fruitarian, or just fruits and vegetables. If you can do that and it supports your body and your health and your mind, fine. But don't think that it needs to be that way for everybody, nor do you have to impress that upon everyone that you're eating a holy diet because of that. You would not eat onions and garlic. There's reasons for that aside from the yogic folklore. Onions and garlic actually mess with some of the neurotransmitters in your brain, and if you're allergic to them, they can make you overly sleepy and groggy, so you're not able to stay awake and alert while you meditate. So my rule of thumb is, if you can still meditate pristinely, clearly, perfectly awake, without nodding off, without getting lost in subconscious reverie or dreams, your diet's probably fine. If you find that you can't meditate because you're dull-witted, you're slow, or you suffer from emotional difficulties, anxiety, depression, and it's not because of past trauma or whatever it might be, well, you might need to look at the foods that you eat. Eating lighter foods, more fresh fruits and vegetables, is ideal. One of the best books I've ever read on Ayurveda, called Perfect Balance by Atreya Smith, he said, you can have all these food guidelines for your different types, and you can have yogic food guidelines and these sorts of things. But he said, if you just simply ate real food, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, locally grown, you'd probably be healthy and happy and live a long time. And it probably wouldn't interfere too much with your capacity to meditate well. So far, the 2 basic rules we need you to follow is pay attention to how food affects you. If you find yourself negatively affected by the foods that you eat, we'll cut them out. If you find yourself healthy and happy and smiling, we'll eat that kind of food. Personally, I love pizza. I can eat half a pizza and I can still meditate like a champ. It doesn't bother me at all. I can eat onions and garlic, and I get groggy, I get sleepy, I can't meditate well. So for me, I try to avoid onions and garlic, especially raw onions and garlic, as often as possible. That's my personal experience. I know people who can eat meat and meditate well. I know people who can eat meat and they can't meditate for crap. So it all depends on how your body reacts to it and your personal belief systems. And of course, there's a health component to it. But you have to be cautious about these healthy ideas. Because have you ever noticed that it seems that every couple of years there's a new healthy thing you got to be aware of? First of all, it's not eating meat, then it's not eating sugar, then it's not eating wheat, then it's not eating this, then it's not eating that. It can make your head spin, essentially. So this is why the ultimate test is how it affects you, right? Because you can hop on the belief train of saying this is right, this is wrong, and then you just end up getting involved in distractions of arguing about food and the morality of food and what's healthy and what's not healthy. And that's just a total waste of time. So figure out for you what works. Don't talk about it with your friends. Just have your yogic diet the way it fits for you. One thing I would advise that I found to be extremely helpful is applying the Ayurvedic food combinations list. So research AYURVEDIC, Ayurvedic food combinations list. That can help you digest things very well and very easily, which puts less stress on your body, which gives you more energy for meditation, for inner contemplation. So that is probably the third aspect that I would encourage you to get involved with. Number one, how does it affect you? Number two, are you eating just healthy, real, locally grown, unprocessed food? Number two. Number three, look up the Ayurvedic food combination list. I'm not going to go over that because it's extensive. And if you're able to match foods in that way, you'll find that your digestion is easier, you'll be healthier, you'll have more energy, and you'll be able to meditate more clearly. You want to avoid fads, as I've mentioned, and I've done all kinds of diets. So if you think I'm just making stuff up, talking out of my behind, I'm not. From the time I began practicing meditation, I've been a hardcore vegetarian, a hardcore vegan. I've done the fruitarian diet. I've done some interesting mono diets, and I've done these over a long period of time. I didn't just do them for a week. And what I found was that these three things that I just mentioned are the most important. Pay attention to how food affects you. Eat real food. And pay attention to the food combination table or list. If you do that, you're probably going to be just fine, unless you have an obsession around food, which a lot of people do. People in the health field, they have this weird obsessive mentality, and having an obsession around food, healthy food, is considered to be a little more socially acceptable, but it's still a form of an obsession. So we want to avoid that if possible. These days, I will eat meat from time to time, not much, a lot compared to a hardcore vegetarian. I really avoid red meat. If I eat meat at all, it'll be seafood, sometimes chicken. But mostly my diet is vegetables, rice and beans, hummus, fruits, like a Mediterranean kind of diet. That's what I eat, and it works just fine for me. I personally avoid onions and garlic. I avoid excessive sugar. I avoid excessive stimulants. For me, caffeine doesn't do too well. I can have some earlier in the day, but for me, it can keep me up quite a bit. And that interferes with my capacity to wake up early and meditate well. All right, so you have to watch and pay attention to these things. But I don't stress about food. I don't go nuts about it. If someone wants to serve me a piece of blueberry pie, I'm probably going to eat it because it's not something I eat every day. But you want to be very balanced and even-minded about the foods that you eat and follow these three simple rules. And what are they? Pay attention to how food affects you. Eat those things that keep you alert, healthy, and happy. The things that distress you, that make you not meditate well, that make you groggy, sleepy, cranky, or anxious, cut them out. You might have to experiment. This is not an easy thing. You might have to pick certain foods and cut them out of your diet and see how they affect you over a long period of time, a couple weeks, a couple months even. I've done that as well, which is why not only do I not eat a lot of onions and garlic, but I also don't eat much processed dairy, because I discovered that dairy doesn't work well for me on many levels, not as an allergy, but how it affects my mental state, how it affects my health, and these sorts of things. So you have to pay attention to this. Number 2, eat real, healthy food. Ideally not out of a box, fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, things that you prepare yourself. And finally, research the Ayurvedic food combination list and try your best to make your meals follow that pattern. And you'll find that your digestion is easier, you'll have more energy, you'll be more alert, you'll be more awake. and you'll be healthier. Okay, so this is my thought on food and how it can support your meditation practice. It's all very much based on how you respond to food. But as you see, this is about developing your self-awareness, which is what Kriya Yoga and the spiritual path is all about.